informed me that
So yeah, so we're playing Call of Duty.
for about 6 months.
So first we're going to show my loadout. So first loadout, we got the GP
I always had
Hova.
problems with self-esteem from a very early age. With Chad and with a lot of abusers,
The
what they
GP
do
Hova.
is they break down your self-esteem,
Okay,
your
do y'all
self-confidence,
see this?
and make you feel like there's no way that you could survive without them. I'm not sure when his interest in the military started. He had almost a natural obsession with firearms, and I think that probably played a big role in him originally joining the National Guard. Where I grew up in rural Mississippi, it is not uncommon for everyone to own firearms.
Well, why can't I see those screen?
With Chad's interest with firearms, it went a little bit beyond that. He had up to 20 firearms, including assault rifles and handguns. He had an AR-15. He had an AK-47. He had a 12-gauge shotgun, 45 caliber handgun, 357 Magnum, and a 38 Special. That's the ones that I remember. It was less about owning the firearms than the comments that he made regarding those firearms. The need to stockpile weapons in case if there was ever an instance where he needs to be in a militia work to overthrow the government. When I was with him, I
don't know what's wrong.
17 to 21 years old. It was very terrifying to me. There was an instance where we were driving down a back road in the middle of the woods. I remember it being a really hot day. In my area, there's a lot of strays and stuff that get dumped in the country. And a dog was just walking down the side of the road, and Chad stopped all of a sudden, and he called the dog to the driver's door. And the dog was happy to see him, wagging his tail. And he grabbed his 4-5 handgun out from underneath his seat. And he was saying, and the dog took its front paws on the side of our vehicle. And at that point, he just knocked the dog in the face.
Threat neutralized. Enemy soldiers incoming. All stations, we are free to go.
Someone being so evil towards animals was something
See, I like that, chat.
before in my life.
And I'm planning on keeping it out.
And I think it was to let me know that he's capable of doing some pretty horrible things if I didn't get in line.
I might buy the whole bundle of the mannequin from Indiana Jones. Yup, chat, I might buy the whole bundle of the mannequin from the Indiana Jones thing.
The way the house was supposed to be, he made it obviously clear that what my station in life was to be a housewife, a mother, and things lined up a certain way. All of these vegetables and cabinets, they all had to be grouped together. The corn together, green beans together.
Hello? Down there, down there.
Usually when I knew that he was heading in for the weekend,
got armor here. Cancel
I would
that.
spend that whole day before scrubbing the
Yo, I did not see him, bro.
just getting everything right.
He's a camper. I could always tell he's a camper.
Dirt on the floor, and dump out dressers and tear clothes out of closets and flip mattresses
Back
off
in
the
the
bed,
Go get
clean dishes off the surfaces. there was
Your
instances
squad
where
mate
he
is
would
redeploying. Well
almost,
done.
his nose would almost touch my nose. So look into his face, it looked sometimes like he was looking straight through me. Like he wasn't even looking at me, he was looking straight through something else. And his eyes almost became black. And as time went on,
There's no way, bro. Y'all, let me switch the controller real fast. They always using the self-decipher.
that ever laid hands on me was about 6 weeks after I found out that I was pregnant.
I got my
We
controller
went
up.
into the bedroom,
What's the control freak?
into a dresser,
Let's get to work.
and he was sleeping because he was working the night shift. And the drawer squeaked.
Switching mags.
It woke him up,
Enemy soldier
and
incoming.
he immediately jumped up out of bed, grabbed me by my hair, drug me out of the room, kind of tossed me into the hallway,
The
and slammed the door on my face.
Which means toss you kind of in the hallway.
I was shocked. I didn't know what just happened. I was confused. I was scared. My heart was racing. I didn't know what to do. And I just stood there dumbfounded. And then after a few minutes, he came out and he wrapped his arms around me from behind and just said that he was sorry, that he had never done anything like that before to someone, and that he was probably half asleep when he done it, and that it would never happen again.
Enemies
At
are
the
dropping
time,
into the
I
area.
believed him.
Watch the skies.
You know, I woke him up, he's tired, he works, he provides for me, and I was so inconsiderate to go in there and wake him up.
Loading new mag. Enemy destroyed. Use your tac map to hunt down the
I
rest.
didn't want to leave because there were times where things were really, when they were good, they were okay, and it kind of helped soften when things weren't okay. It didn't last long compared to the good times that we had.
Loadout drop headed your way.
Scott was born on January 9th, 1998. I was 18 years old, and I instantly fell in love with
Is that a loadout drop
From
or
the
not?
moment he took his first breath, he was a ball of
Your
energy.
squad mate's back on station. Good
Things were
work.
really good for a little while after that.
Enemy
There were
UAV is
times when
online.
we got along great, and we laughed and we loved, and he would shower me with compliments and gifts and love. So for a little while after Scott was
Squad
born,
mate's
kind
MIA.
of
We're reducing
helped us
redeployment time.
have better times and make good memories of him when he was a baby. It was calm, and there were no violent instances where he hurt me.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
We got married when I was 6 months pregnant with my second child at the time, Cynthia.
Switching mags.
There was no proposal, there was nothing romantic that happened. They were getting married. We walked in
Starting
the
over.
hood, it took about 10 minutes, and I wore blue jeans and a t-shirt, and that was it. It was done in 15 minutes.
Broke their armor. Stop hanging around.
After what I would call a honeymoon break, we would just eventually circle back around. By the time I was pregnant with Cynthia, I kind of knew the routine. He would be angry, he would become violent, he would become
Enemies are dropping
remorseful,
into the area.
see a pattern for me. I lost all my friends,
Only
and
one left.
my family were disappointed in me, and
Squad's in the safe zone.
did not like him. It made it really hard to
I hate this game,
tell him.
Forgot to deploy my parachute, bro.
It hadn't been long since I had Cynthia.
I'm done for that.
One
I gotta go
day,
there and get my loadie.
He had been working out of town and he came in and I had made about 3 days before.
Let's get to
Get
work.
ready. You're redeploying.
And he made the comment,
Let me go down there and get my lady.
"Wife is still in here." He grabbed me by my hair and made me get on my knees in the middle of the kitchen. And he
Enemy
set the
soldier
pot
incoming.
of spaghetti in front of me. And he started scooping handfuls of spaghetti out and force feeding me.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Inserting
Like,
armor.
eat it. If you
I'm hit.
expect me to eat it, then you should have no problem eating it. He started rubbing it on my face and in my hair.
Target down.
He
Marking the
would
rest
take
of
his
them.
hand
Inserting
and
armor.
push my face back like that. He started punching me and slapping me around. He drove me into our bedroom where he
Fire
continued to
sale
assault
active.
me.
Switching mags.
Fire station prices have been
And
reduced.
continued to beat me for a considerable amount of time. After he done that, he made
I'm
me
catching the
scrub
zip line.
floors on my hands and knees with rags to clean up the spaghetti sauce. There was something about that day, him treating me like I was not human. By the next morning, I had 2 black eyes and a fractured rib on my
Loading new
right
mag.
side. He had never touched the kids.
Get ready.
Weapon
And
over
the
here.
rest of
Window is about to close.
never, but it terrified me. It terrified me. Like, how far is this gonna escalate? I never realized that he, even as evil and as vile as he is, that he would go that far.
Enemy destroyed. Use your tac map to hunt down the rest of them.
When Chad left for work, I got my children dressed, and myself dressed, and I walked to the nearest neighbor where I could use their phone. I called my family, that
Switching mags.
Enemy dropping
I would
into
need
the
to press
AR.
charges on him. He beat me pretty bad.
We've got 10 squads
So
active in the
I
field.
pressed charges on him. He was arrested and booked, and
Fire
once he
sale
went to
done.
court,
Prices are back to
the
normal.
judge had an agreement with his lawyer that he would seek psychiatric help in a inpatient facility and start medication
Marks remaining operators from that
after
squad.
he was released from the psychiatric facility. I was very much on guard. But over time, I felt like I saw a difference in him. I didn't know not to believe him.
Reloading.
It all goes down to him spinning it around to make it somehow seem my fault. A few months later, my last
This is
child.
the end game.
At that point, I had 3 children by him in 3 years.
Fire
And
crates have been restocked.
I realized that how was I ever going to escape this relationship if I kept having children by this man? And unbeknownst to him, it was absolutely a big risk, and I was terrified the whole time. I went behind his back.
That's our
and had
field
my
upgrade.
kids tied while he was out of town.
Only 4 left.
I'm down. I need 3 others.
There's no way, bro. How?
And I was a little late getting home, and he was frustrated. And he started in on me.
Yo, bro, these niggas tweaking.
Scott at the time was 3. And Scott ran into the living room as he was beating me and tried to separate us and tried to get in between us. And at that time, Chad picked him up, threw him onto the couch, and slapped him across the back so hard that it left a handprint.
Ooh.
He always kept a handgun in the nightstand, and it always stayed loaded. And he laid me across the bed, and he straddled me with his knees on each side of my shoulders. And he told me to open up my mouth.
The
and he forced the gun into my mouth. He got really close to me, right in my ear,
What the
and he
fuck?
said, "Do you see the evil in my eyes?"
The fuck?
I thought I was dead. And I vomited on me and him and the gun. And at that point, he pulled me off of the bed, put me on my knees, and at this point, he put it to the back of my head. It was like a switch to go from this aggressive, crazy, evil mindset to talking normally on the phone, setting up arrangements. And he said, "Get in the vehicle. We're going, get the kids up, get a towel for your face. And if you let anyone see your face, I will kill you when we get home. I will promise you that I will kill you." I had always made a promise to myself. I said, he can hurt me as much as he wants, but the first time he ever puts a hand on my children, I will be gone. And so I got the kids into the van. He drove to the house, and I just prayed the whole way there. I said, "God, make a way for me to escape right now. I'll never look back. I swear to you." And he stepped out of the vehicle and was walking up to the door. And I jumped into the driver's seat and I locked the door. And I probably did about 60 miles an hour in reverse out of the driveway. And when I went to put it in drive to go forward, he had run across their small yard and jumped in front of the vehicle. And he was mouthing, "I'm gonna kill you." And I just closed my eyes and I pressed the gas. He could do whatever he wanted to me, and I would put up with it. I always said he'll never hurt my kids. But I always had this knot in my stomach that something was going to happen.
I should have hit a stem shot. Well, I could have I should have hit a stem shot and ran away and then came back and killed him, nigga.
Check himself into a psychiatric facility voluntarily and start medication. And that way it looked like he was sincere and seeking help. And that he was willing to change. And I knew that wasn't true. He started the divorce process, and that's where the whole he and he said, "You'll do exactly what I tell you to do in the divorce proceedings, and I'll take the kids and you'll never see them again." He said that he was going to take my children from me, and I was never going to see them again. I believed that he would make that happen. Even though I wasn't living with him, I still felt.
Hold on, let me go get my mouse and keyboard
of him and what he could do to me. He was always going to have some rights to his children, and he was so manipulative in the court system that I was afraid that if I kept pressuring the courts to make a decision on where they needed to stay for the most part, that I would end up swaying it his way. So in a way, I kind of just broke down and gave him what he wanted. So the children would stay with him for the school year. I still felt like maybe the instance with Scott was a one-time thing, And I looked back and I was like, you know, Jessica, he was never violent towards them. They loved him, especially Scott. Scott and Chad have so many likenesses. They have so many things in
Stop
common.
waking me up!
I don't think there's anything that I could have done or said to break that bond with them because it was so tight. I think in this picture that Scott's emotions in it are genuine. I think that Chad's is for the camera. This is Scott. He loved to dress up in his dad's army gear. It's one of my favorite pictures.
What you doing right there, boy?
Doing something.
Move over.
Hold
What are you doing?
on. Fixing the PS4.
After our divorce, I decided that I was going to stop depending on men for my
What are you
livelihood,
doing, Cam?
and I was going to step up and take care of myself. I can't think of anything more empowering for a
Let me
woman
write down anything.
than to join the United States Army, and that's what I did. I just have recently graduated basic training with the United States Army. I actually met Eric through one of his friends.
January 1st of 2007, a friend of mine had gone to a New Year's Eve party. I was on duty that night. The following afternoon, he called me and said, "Hey, I met a girl. Will you come with me? She has a friend." We kind of hit it off, and we liked each other a lot. It got serious pretty quickly.
When the kids first met Eric, Scott was 10, Cynthia was 9, and Joe was 8.
We went to the beach, went out, played catch on the beach, and their dad had never done that with them. The kids throughout the years have gone back and forth from dad to us. So Scott, he was very outgoing, and he was the kind of life where he didn't care who was looking. He was the guy that everybody invited to the party because he was gonna bring it. I met Chad on a few occasions. Jessica always asked me to maintain a cordial relationship with him for the kids. So I try to do that. I will tell you that there's not a single time that I have been around Chad Graves that I have not had a gun on me, though, because I do not trust that man.
We actually met in the 7th or 6th grade, but when we got to high school, we kind of went our separate ways until he contacted me on Facebook. He's very, very charming. He would open the car door for me, help me put my seatbelt on, just very, very gentlemanlike. I was aware Chad was on medication. A month or so, I guess, 3 months maybe after we got together, he told me that he had had some issues with PTSD from being in the Army, because as far as me and him, he had not shown any violent side yet. Chad would tell me and Scott about some of the things he'd done in the military. He told us that he was a commander on a Bradley, and he hit to his daddy.
Chad.
It didn't matter what Chad done to him, he would always forgive him and hug him and tell his daddy that he loved him. No matter what Chad did, he always forgave him.
I woke up like it was any other day. I got up, made me some coffee, and I noticed that I had a missed message on Facebook from someone that I did not recognize. It stated, "Hello, I'm a friend of Chad and Stacy's, and Stacy's trying to reach you. It's an emergency. Please call her back at this number." And so immediately my first thought was they probably got into an argument and they fought. So I called And as soon as Stacy answered the phone, I couldn't understand her. She was screaming and crying and saying over and over that he killed him.
On August the 16th of 2018, Scott asked his dad if he could go to his grandmother's house, and Chad told him no. And things escalated from there. Chad was in the bed. I was standing beside the bed talking to Chad. And the next thing I know, Chad jumped up out of bed, pushed Scott into a corner. That's where Chad's shotgun was. Scott grabbed the nozzle of the gun, and then Chad grabbed it, and that's when they started fighting over it. They worked their way into the dining room, fighting over it, wrestling over it. From where I was standing, I couldn't see where Scott was, but Chad I could see, and he had the shotgun in his hand, and I said, put the gun down, what are you doing? And he just looked at me with a blank look, and he racked the shotgun and then fired. I'm sorry. I come running out of the bedroom to get to Scott, and Chad got in front of me and told me, don't look at him, don't touch him, call 911. I was in such shock. And then after that, it's all a blank until the police get there. The police took me out in the breezeway of the apartment. I'm in my pajamas, no shoes. Chad was to the left of me, and I remember them arresting and handcuffing him. But they took me to a police car. It's pouring rain this night. From there, he goes to the VA, to the mental hospital.
I was at work about 9 o'clock in the morning. I was on a break, and Jessica called me hysterical. And was just screaming into the phone, he killed him, he killed my baby.
And I prayed for God to send him back to me, and that he could take him. And then the next thing I remember was being in the front yard on my knees, and a police officer from our town pulling up to be with me until Eric could make it. And I fell onto hot asphalt and laid in the fetal position while my whole world just fell apart. I immediately knew there was no way that it's self-defense, because I know my son, and I know what kind of heart he had, and I know how evil Chad was, and I knew that he would say whatever he needed to try to get out of trouble. I let fear drive me to accept the custody agreement, and I will, to this day, for the rest of my life, feel guilt and anguish over that decision. They looked at all the evidence. All the shotgun pellets were in the baseboards of the floor. The way the blood was pooled showed that Scott was on the floor when he was shot.
So he was not a threat for Chad. He could have put the gun down at any time. Chad shot Scott like it wasn't nothing to him. And I can't comprehend it. The police arrested him on August the 29th of 2018 at the Biloxi VA when he was being discharged.
With Chad being manipulative, he found this perfect opportunity to say, hey, you know, I have PTSD. But anybody that knew Chad before he deployed knew that this behavior didn't come around because of PTSD. Because he was abusing people and being violent way before he ever saw combat. In which we later found out he, in fact, never saw combat. People don't realize that not every job that you do in the military
Enemy
puts you
soldier
in
incoming.
harm's way or puts you in a combat
Use
situation.
this time for some target
I
practice.
contacted several recruiting Army buddies, and they told me early on in his deployment he was deemed a liability because of a negligent discharge. They pulled him off of the front line and put him behind a computer.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
Loading new mag.
He lied about everything he did in the military. I was felt betrayed.
Something you want to say, soldier?
I believe he used his
Prep time's over.
PTSD as a
Ready
crutch.
to deploy to the war zone.
I mean, you don't lie about stuff like that.
Yes, sir, Ski.
When I saw him walk in, I was shocked at his appearance, his age. Rightfully so, being in jail for the last 3 years. I saw very little remorse.
Resurgence.
They told me I could have a few moments to speak, and I took 6 minutes.
Eliminate
And
target.
my victim's impact statement.
Cancel my waypoint.
Watch my other children grow up and have to build off their struggles.
I looked him in the face, and there was no expression.
Enemy soldier incoming.
Except for the fact when I said, Scott was the only child that loved you unconditionally and forgave you for everything you ever did to him. And at that point, he shook his head yes. And then they asked him if he wanted to speak, and he said no. And then they sentenced him. The fact that he could get out in 6 years consumed me. I kept thinking, what do I need to do proactively as a parent to protect my remaining children? How do I protect us all?
Target down.
He's just a
Mark
mean,
the rest.
evil person. Who could do that to their own child and not show any remorse?
I didn't even see them right there.
I,
Friendly loadout drops on
in the
the
back of
way.
my head, always believed that one day Chad would go too far. But I never
Back in the AO.
thought that it'd be one of his kids. Furthermore, I never thought that it would be Scott. The one kid that always stood by him. Always
Dropping into the area. Watch
defended
the
him.
sky.
Chad didn't
Loot cash here.
become a monster because of Iraq. Chad was a monster
Broke their armor.
from his teenage years
Confirmed.
to the point where he decided to pull the trigger on his own son.
For a long time,
This one's wounded. Switching mags.
I felt like a piece of me died. I got justice for it, to some degree.
Taking
But
fire.
all this is brother.
Broke their armor. Inserting armor.
The world is really missing out.
Enemy dropping into the AO. Cancel. All squad mates are in the safe zone.
Switching mags.
Just
working out the kinks.
That's what on your tac map. Get
They
hunted.
made each other laugh. She was happy, so I was happy.
There's a woman there that she doesn't know. She said that she was
Enemies
looking
dropping
for
their
her
armor.
husband.
Watch the skies.
Inserting armor.
Mark remaining
Involvement
operators
with
from that
everything
squad.
that
Hunt them
happened.
down.
I didn't know it could have such a devastating impact on so many
Switching
people's
mags.
lives.
It was the beginning of hell.
Locating the rest of them. I'll drive. Enemy destroyed. Use your tac map to hunt down the rest of them. I'll drive. You've got a loadout drop inbound. Enemy soldier incoming. I'll fly.
Enemy spotted.
My sister Stacy had the best personality of anybody I know.
Target
She
down.
was the life
Marking
of
the
the
rest.
party. She just really wanted to have fun.
Funny is an understatement. She was there to make people smile and feel happy around her.
Gas mask marked.
She would do anything to make you laugh.
It looks like she has a doily on her head. This is the kind of stuff she did all the time. You see that smile? It's never
Broke their
picture.
armor.
It's contagious.
Good
Loading
kill.
the mag.
Marking the rest of that squad on your
Inserting
tac
armor.
I
map.
felt like
Get
a
hunted.
sister. And because of her incredible family, they allowed me to feel like a sister.
Stacy's life dream was to have
You have
children
reinforcements
and be a
inbound.
mom.
Enemy destroyed. Use
It
your
was
tac
almost a
map to
given
hunt
that
down
that
the
was
rest
her
of them.
life path. I mean, she was incredible with children.
I'm hit.
Right after college, she was working.
Target down. Marking the
Every
rest of
job
them.
she had was for a fundraising organization. Anything to help the greater good and help people.
She did meet a guy that she ended up falling in love with and getting engaged to.
Enemy soldier incoming. Good kill. Marking the rest of
As
that
the
squad on your
wedding
tac
date
map.
got closer, it
That's
was
nice.
clear
Your
that
squad made it to the
something
safe
wasn't right, and that wedding got canceled.
zone. Mark remaining operators from that squad. Hunt them down.
Stacey was devastated. She thought that this was the love of her life. Her biological
God will
clock
see what-
started ticking very, very early. This was not part of her plan. Her plan included being married before she was
15 kills.
30, having kids before she was 30, and it threw her for a loop. She needed to change scenery,
Good kill. Marking the
and
rest of that squad on your
it
tac
was
map.
fun to move to Boston and take care of her needs.
Target down. Marking the rest of them.
And it was magical.
Squad mate redeployed. Well done.
Open season.
Enemy destroyed.
When I
Use your tac
first
map to
met
hunt down the rest of
him,
them.
it was at our house. I was coming to pick her up for a date.
Fire sale is active. 5 station prices are adjusted.
He was very charming, very likable, and seemed to be enamored of her.
On
Enemy
paper,
dropping into the AO.
he looked great.
He was a good-looking guy, well-educated. They made each other laugh. She had high hopes for a change. I think she really loved the idea. She met him at the right time.
Reloading.
They went to Boston on their first date and drove around looking for a parking meter. And he had this little trick that will jimmy the parking meter so that you don't have to put money in it. And Stacy thought, wow, isn't that kind of cool? And I thought, I don't think that's cool at all. I think that's stealing.
Marks remain in operations from that
I
squad.
didn't like
Loading new
that,
mag.
and that was their very first date.
Gas is inbound.
He came from a Jewish family, a close family. His parents were divorced
Enemies are dropping
when
into
he
the
was
area. Watch
a
the
child.
skies.
And he had promised her that divorce would never be in their future because of the trauma that it did to him. Stacy's heart was broken.
Enemy destroyed.
Her first
Switching mag.
Attack map to hunt down the rest
was
of them.
broken. And she was guarded. And he was going to be her forever. He promised her that she would have everything.
Marks
That she
remain
would
in
be a
operation
stay-at-home
from that
mom.
squad.
That he was going to
Hunt them
provide for
down.
the family. That she wasn't going to have to
Surgeons
work.
are close. No more second chances.
He never knew how that was going to happen because he never really had a job.
Enemies dropping into the AO. Supply crates are restocked. Advise you to load up now.
He was a bit of a
Got
scammer.
10 squads
He
active.
always had ways of scamming the system. One of the things he did while he was in Boston, I'll never forget this.
Eyes on enemy.
He went to an
Switching
electronics
mag.
store
Come on, find me back.
and took the electronics out of the box, filled the box with
Loading new mag.
heavy bricks, and returned the box.
Come on, find me
Got his
back.
money back.
Gas is closing in.
He did me like a freeloader. I wasn't sure about his motivation
Inserting
to
armor.
find something to support his family, so I was a little bit concerned. Looking back on it,
4
the red
remaining.
flags were there. One night I had invited Stacy and him to come out for dinner with us, and Stacy really wanted to come out
5
with us,
squads still operational
and he
with the AO.
refused.
Taking fire.
He wanted to stay home and cook. I knew that what
We're
that
in the
meant
top
for
three.
Stacy
Don't let
is
up now.
that he would use every dish in the kitchen.
25, 25.
We're in the last
Because
2. Now
he
finish.
never wanted to do dishes.
3 squads left in the war zone. Stay alert.
Whatever he wanted, he got. Whatever he said, we all followed his rules. It wasn't about what Stacy wanted
The
that
enemy
night.
never stood a
It was
chance.
really
Nice
only about
start.
what he wanted.
Taking fire. Grenade incoming.
Decided they wouldn't move to Denver, Colorado. If he was to be her Prince Charming and give her what she wanted in a marriage, being a stay-at-home mom, Robert needs to have a job. They have lots of family in Denver. So Stacy thought, well, maybe he'll just come to Denver with me. My relatives will help him get a job at least, you know.
Y'all, we playing this one last time. Did y'all see that, bro? I had like 25 kills.
I think my gut told me he's not deserving yet to make this move with her and to be so immersed in her incredible family. And I was worried that if he did go with her, she was never coming back. About a week before they were set to move, she and I went out to dinner together.
And this is probably the one and only time I ever put myself out there like this with her. I said, are you sure you want him to come with you? You are moving to a new place. You have so many opportunities. Are you sure this is what you want? And she said to me, and I will never forget it, she said, Susan, he told me that he had a tough childhood and he had to take care of himself. And so he's number one in his book. He's always going to be number one. And I said, Stacy, is that the kind of person that you want to marry? And she said the typical, classic, textbook response.
Check weapons and gear. We're holding for deployment.
He will change for me. This is one of
Hostile down.
I think this is one of all of our greatest regrets, is that we didn't know what was happening.
Taking still.
All together.
Sector 911.
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the sky. Time's over. Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
Like, what was he doing? Dad, Nathan vapes, and he's 11 years old. That's crazy. Leah trying to say it's medicine. You don't get medicine that's in the form of a vape. You heard me, Dad?
Yes, yes, yes.
And how they were going to be. Stacy had a mind of her own. He still got it, but he wanted things a certain way. When he wanted something, he wanted them his way.
Stacy actually ended up
Dropping into the AO.
and moving into my parents' house. Robert apologized and promised it won't happen again.
I was hopeful that this was it, but it was maybe a few days. Then they got back together.
Stacy was just too
Weapon over
invested
here.
at that point and was looking for her happily ever after.
I gotta do the cipher. Let me pick up the freaking cipher.
When she told me that she was engaged, my heart dropped.
Target
Switching
down.
mags.
Marking
While
the
she
rest
was
of them.
thrilled about her dreams coming true
Squad
of
mates
getting
back
married
on
and having
station. Good
babies,
work.
my stomach sunk. My heart sunk.
Got armor here.
Enemy
Cancel
soldier
that.
incoming.
I wasn't happy for her. I pretended. I put on a show. I never shared
Your
my
squad
true
mates
feelings
redeploying.
with
Well
her
done.
about
Friendly loadout
her
drops on the
future.
way.
Something that I regret to this day.
Enemy grenade. Loading new mag.
Good kill.
So
Marking
it
the
was a
rest of
lovely
them.
wedding,
Bang
and
it.
it coincided
The frick?
with the Oscar Award.
Target down. Marking the rest of them.
Inserting armor.
He had a really great speech. And he used the terms from the Oscar Awards. For example, producer, the director was his whatever. He would thank people and acknowledge them, the people in his life and his family, by giving them titles. And so we all assumed his leading lady, it was there for the taking. Leading lady. It never happened. He never mentioned Stacy. It was devastating. It was embarrassing. She was mortified. directly affected her, and that was kind of sad. A hard way to start.
Carter, how did they get over the roof?
Enemy destroyed. Use your tac map to hunt down the rest of them. Check your map. Mark the point containing enemy intel nearby.
Taking fire.
Fuck.
Check for information on the next south screen.
I took a hit.
Notice her smile is not quite the same smile that we saw in earlier photos. Wonder about that.
Reloading.
They got married in March, so
Back in the AO.
they had their daughter. Beautiful girl, and
Loading new mag.
within 2 years of that, they had their son.
Loadout drop headed your way.
Becoming a mom was her greatest joy, and she was the best mother ever. Stacy stopped working and started living a life that she always dreamt of.
Head for indicated location.
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the
His
sky.
job was commission-based, so he really had to be motivated and work hard.
Inserting armor.
He didn't. But if he was home, I remember him sitting after the home just sitting on the couch. He was never working.
Stacy eventually went back to work.
She got a great job again in the nonprofit industry, and she was doing exceptionally well.
She did it because she needed to provide for her family. Her dream of being a stay-at-home mom was crushed.
Mark
He was
remaining operators from that
a
squad.
lowlife and wasn't going to provide, but then there was this whole other chapter that started. A girlfriend and I went down to Denver to celebrate my birthday, and the day we got there, we needed to use her computer, so we went to their family computer. We sort of just moved the mouse,
Good kill. Marking the rest of that squad with your tac map.
and we were immediately
Loading new mag.
faced with the open page of a dating app.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
And called me right away and said she saw the website and that the person had a profile.
Inserting armor.
Well, at first we were confused, and then we saw that there was correspondence, and whereas we were told that he had a meeting that night and he was going
Mark
home for
remaining
dinner,
operators from that squad.
he in fact
Switching
went
mags.
out, that evening. I was
Inserting armor.
shocked. I was scared. I didn't understand how it was open on their family computer, and I didn't know what to do.
Just
I was
work out the
really
kinks.
upset. I was.
With your tac map. Get hunted.
Inserting armor.
At that moment, we did nothing. We didn't tell her.
Neither of us knew what to do. We did not
Target
Switching
down.
mags.
do it
Marking
over
the rest.
again.
Inserting
We
armor.
done it differently.
What if she turned on us? What if she alienated us?
Enemy destroyed. Use your tac map to hunt down the rest of them.
Inserting armor.
That's how you gotta be at chat.
We've
I
got 10
talked to
squads
Stacy
active in the
every
field.
evening after she put the kids to bed. And there was this one night that we were doing our daily call.
Time's up.
And the door got
Enemy
rang.
raised the intel.
She wasn't expecting anyone. So
Fire
she goes
sale
to the
active.
door.
Fire station fire.
There's a woman there that she doesn't
Back
know.
out gas.
She said that she was looking for Stacy's husband.
Inserting armor.
It turned out that it was somebody that he had met on a website.
That's our field upgrade.
And she came to the door looking for him.
That came out that he was with
Enemies
her.
are dropping into the area. Watch the
Actually-
sky.
Stacy was shocked as the body was discovered. That's when chaos started.
Resurgence window is ending. Watch your six. Hostile UAV in the area.
Stacy confided in me that she found out about her husband's affair.
Mark remaining operators
He
from that squad.
claimed
Hunt them
he
down.
needed
Reloading.
to get this sex wherever he could find it. As miserable and sad as she was more forgiving than maybe she should have. I talked to her about it. She point blank said, I don't want to be a single mom. I don't think that was
Enemies removed.
supportive of single moms. I think she felt shame in the situation that she was in.
Loading the mag.
Having friends that were divorced.
Get hunted.
Inserting armor.
Fire fail start. Right to the back control.
I'm hit. Therapy.
Jack up. Get a UAV in the air.
He would start at her insistence, and he wouldn't finish, he wouldn't continue to go.
Assault pack
There would
available.
always be an excuse. He didn't like the person.
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the sky.
Broke their armor.
He's making excuses for himself. That was really hurtful.
Reloading.
He told her that he needed to move so that he could be attracted to her.
No longer
Inserting armor.
How he spoke to her, it was shocking. He was rude. He was mean. I couldn't believe it. They tried every avenue. Nothing worked. Nothing helped. And it didn't stop.
We talked about her leaving him. I talked to her about what she wanted to do about
Gas
that.
mask marked.
And we had made a plan that she was going to leave. But he said to her, I will never divorce you. I will never let you divorce me because I am a product of a broken marriage, and I will not do that to my children.
Head to the safe zone.
Marking shotgun
Clap.
shells.
You're losing
Crying,
ground.
crying,
Moving.
crying.
Enemies dropping into the AO.
And I was listening to her. I wasn't there a lot, I was just listening to her. And I had this thought. And I said to myself,
You're in the top five.
if she
Bring home the
ends
win.
up dead, it's because he's gonna kill her.
Five squads.
I
Setting
said
waypoint.
that I've divorced
Switching
for
mags.
many years.
You're in the
I
top
have used
three. Don't get up
several
now.
online dating sites.
I'm hitting the zip.
Didn't have a whole lot of success with anything, and I thought I would try something new and try the Tinder out.
15 kills.
3 squads left in the war zone. Stay alert. That's a win.
Profile
Wait to take
picture,
what
he
you
had
Yep,
a big
chat.
smile on his face, he was laughing, and he just looked like a very happy person. So that's what drew me to the photograph. And so I swiped right on Bob.
Yup, chat. Y'all see this? That's not me though. I don't got the LC10. I don't know why.
We met for coffee. We talked about
That's me.
he had told me we'd been separated. He had been separated for 2 years, and they were both seeing other people. I also told him about my life. I told him about my divorce situation. We talked about our careers, about our kids, what we were looking for in terms of relationships.
Yes, chat.
And
Yes,
talked
yes,
about
yes, chat.
What we like to do for fun. Both of us love to go antiquing and just hang out in the city or go in the mountains. Bob and I really seemed to click. On Thursday, we were planning to get together at a wine bar after work. It was blizzarding that night. It was a really snowy night. And he said, why don't I just come to you? That evening, I asked a lot of questions about his situation with his wife. He had explained to me that
Peace out,
the
chat.
reason that he separated
I will be
from her
back with
was
another
because she
video
was an absentee
soon.
mother.